for this new era?
Better be. Better be. So, just got to keep telling myself Rome's not built in a day. You good with that?
Thanks, Coach.
No problem. Yeah, you just got to keep telling yourself, patience. Patience. So, you're trying to build habits with guys. Habits and practice are one thing, and getting things to be second nature to guys is a whole other thing within a gaming setting. The only way you're going to get there, you got to start playing. We got to start playing, and that's the only way we're going to be able to grow. Learn how to not make certain mistakes, whether it's unnecessary fouls, misadvised shots, or ill-advised passes. So you got to get in games. It's the only way to do it. As much as we hate it as coaches, we love practice. Most coaches, we hate games. Games are stress. Can't eat. I'm already losing weight.
And I've already probably driven you crazy with this question, but how many family members are you expecting for this game tomorrow?
Well, my daughter's here with me, so, but I got four flying in.
Your brother, your dad?
Yes, and their wives or their significant others. So, and then a few, some friends, and I think 6 other friends maybe, or something like that. And then I have a lot of friends here, as I've told you, since I got the job. So, and I could be missing a few. So,
in that exhibition game, are you trying to keep things as vanilla as you can, just for scouting purposes?
in the last weeks.
Yeah.
Not really. There's give and take with that. I think you got to get some game experience trying to execute some of the things you practice. Then again, part of you doesn't want to show everything. So, coaches do it. I've done it differently. Sometimes I've tried to show nothing. I think I'd probably err on the side of offensively. In our scrimmage, we just ran motion for the most part. So we're trying to just teach guys how to pass and move and cut without the basketball, if we had a scrimmage theoretically. So that's that. In the exhibition game, we were much more organized offensively. We scored 87 points and missed a lot of open shots. I think we hit 2 threes with a foot on the line. We had 19 assists. We were much more organized offensively in our scrimmage. Defensively, again, trying to get things to become second nature to guys.
Prince Ali sprained ankle. How is that coming on?
We did some stuff yesterday, so today will be a big day. We played Wednesday, yeah. So we got a couple days here. So I'm a big believer. It's hard to play if you can't practice. So see how he does today. Hopefully he can do some stuff today without pain, and it'd be great if he could go full go tomorrow. But I'm speculating. Until he gets out here, it's tough.
What have you thought about Sharif O'Neal?
Like I've told you, he's a tremendous kid. I think his attitude, as far as trying to become a basketball player, has been awesome. He loves coaching. You can tell some guys, maybe for whatever reason, we're all raised differently. Some guys deal with coaching differently. He never views coaching as criticism. So he wants you to coach him. He knows that's his way to gain knowledge and practice and continue to grow. So that'll accelerate his growth as a player. He's a coach's dream when it comes to that.
Talking about Sharif,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure last Wednesday all of his points came in the fast break. You trying to work on his offense in the half court at all?
Oh, we work on everything with everybody. Sharif's got he's got a really good touch. I'd say 15 and in. He's a capable three-point shooter, but 15 feet and in, he's got a really nice touch. Trying to work with some mechanics on his shot, just like a lot of guys. But as most young players, just got to get them to take their time. So I think that's been the biggest thing. I think that Sharif does a lot of really good things. It's like when I look at a player, there's 7 things I'm looking at, and so scoring is just one of them. Because to me, the defense dictates who's going to shoot the ball by who they leave open. So when I look at him, he competes. He's a team player. He blocks shots. He's a multiple position defender. He passes the ball. He tries to be a team player. So he does a lot of things. As he gets more comfortable and doing all those other things, is going to get him minutes. With any player, the more they're solid in all the other areas, they're going to play, and then their offense starts to come as their career develops.
How close is the team to where you want them to be defensively?
I think, realistically, and an honest answer, we're probably where we should be right now. I think it would be unfair of me to think that they could be where, my Cincinnati team would be. But, right now, Nasir Brooks in his 4th year is my big man. Everybody here is their first year doing the things that we do defensively. So I think we're probably where we should be. But to get, I guess the answer you want is, how much better can we get defensively? I think a lot as the season goes. As these guys, I think when things become second nature to players, then they're just reacting. You're going to be much more effective at whatever you're doing, offense or defense. So I think our team, for our fans, what I would say is we've got to just make sure we're getting better every day. Like, I don't focus. Some people say, hey, Wednesday. I did a Skype interview today. Hey, if you thought about Wednesday night, you're going to walk out as a coach at UCLA. I've been thinking about Long Beach State. I think you just got to stay focused on what you can control. We get better, but I think we need to play some games to improve defensively. So, and offense. When you get to a point where you got to start playing, you can get as good as you want in practice. It's not the same. There's not scouting reports. And then are you implementing your scouting reports? Fouls matter. Not fouling matters. So it's just all the stuff. We're not going to grow until we do it. But we're not a finished product, which I don't think you would want to be at this time of year. The only teams that are like that, I've coached some teams. When you got everybody back, it's a different feeling because you know what to expect when you walk out on the floor because some guys have done it before. So not only do we have a new coaching staff, we got a lot of guys that haven't started or played major minutes here before. It's okay though. Just got to keep. We got to keep the right attitude. Keep trying to get better every day.
How is the attitude? Pretty good.
It's great, but hey, if you got a bad attitude in the preseason, you got real problems now. The stat sheet is where your culture gets challenged. Everybody's a committed player in the preseason. So the question is, is your commitment with or without conditions to how much playing time you get, how many shots you take. So that's where your culture gets challenged, and the character of your team and the leadership of your team.
One more question about Sharif, since we're talking to him today. You talked about his coachability. He doesn't seem, from what I've heard, to have the aura of somebody who's a celebrity son. He seems to be very...
Yeah, I've made it very clear to him I'm a much bigger celebrity than him. No, I think, I will tell you guys that, I told Alex this, I'm probably a really good coach for him because I'm oblivious. I really am. I would want the volleyball coach at Campbell Hall to coach my daughter if she played basketball. Just like every other kid. I wouldn't want her thinking, oh, what should I say to Sammy? Her dad's the coach at UCLA. So I am oblivious, and I grew up. Pete Rose Jr. was one of my best friends growing up. So I know that if I was Sharif, I just want to be me to coach him and get just as mad as him at him when he makes a mistake in practice. He probably thinks it's fun, because I don't know his existence as far as how people treat him because of who his parents are. Because both his parents are famous men. Mother's a highly successful business person, and in entertainment. So yeah, I have no idea what his existence is. All I've told him is that it's not the best thing. Meaning, the hungry dog gets the bone. So I would say, you get too much grass in your yard, you're not the toughest guy in the world. You don't want to get into a one-on-one game with a guy that got no grass. Guy didn't grow up with any grass. He's pretty tough. So, You know, he's just so. Sharif's got a chance to have his own life, his own career, and that's what his parents, I'm sure, want for him. And it's my job to help him get there. So that's what I'm focused on. He's a wonderful kid, but he's got to make sure he stays. You know, his hunger level has to be the same as Tiger Campbell's hunger level. You know, in spite of his home life, it has to be. They don't give away basketball careers. You have to earn them. He's well aware of that.
Have you said?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Have you settled on who will be supporting Tiger Campbell, or will it be like an ongoing rotation at the point guard spot?
You mean
who will be who? Have you settled on a rotation for a backup point guard?
Well, hopefully Prince is healthy. He can play some point guard. David's played point guard as well. Chris and Jules. And I think what we've done a while ago, knowing that Tiger's a freshman, and knowing that we don't have a lot of guys that are, for lack of a better term, like pure point guards. Our offensive system, we try to devise it so where Tiger doesn't have to handle the ball throughout the entire possession, or anybody else. So therefore, if you, for lack of a better term, when Phil Jackson coached the Lakers and Ron Harper played some point, or Derek Fisher was really a shooter. You get into a handoff to a passing game, and there's just things you can do as a coach to alleviate someone from having to dominate the ball and make all the decisions. That's my job. And even for Tiger, because he's great at it, but he's a freshman. And there's going to be times where he has fatigue issues, foul trouble. So you got to try to alleviate some things. It's not. I'm sure that the Ravens changed their offense from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson. So it's just things that you have to do strategically to make it easier on a freshman as his coach and as point guard, and other guys. They can dribble, but they're not necessarily point guards. So there's a way to do some strategic things.
Long Beach State, that they've been your next opponent for the past few weeks, months now. What have you seen from them in film? Like, what's the strongest thing they do, you think?
The coach, first of all, Dan, he's a great coach. He's been around a long time. So he makes me feel young, so I'm glad we're playing him. I told him. I think it's his 30th season as a head coach. Yeah. It's amazing. But they have 11 new players. It's a lot. That's unheard of, right?
Yeah.
So it has been hard to scout them because they only have two guys. They have one guy that started 17 games, and so really no starters, and like one guy that played over. It's unbelievable how much turnover they had, and so it's been very hard to scout their personnel. But as far as their style of play, they're an aggressive defensive team. They like to press, they like to deny, they like to do some change defense. So, Rod worked for Dan for 11 years, so if we don't know some of the things they do, we got issues. But we're not, their personnel is vastly different than last year.
Your starting lineup, do you think it'll look the same as it did in the exhibition game?
Who started the exhibition?
It was Tiger.
So we did it by half in that game. You didn't know that.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we did not start the same lineup in the second half.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to see different, with Jalen, like just different lineups with these guys, who's playing with who, how do we function better? It's a challenge with this team because we have a lot of depth.
Yeah.
So getting guys minutes, B, figuring out what lineups play better together than others, and then what's maybe your best closing lineup. So there's times in a game where you need your best offensive lineup in the game. There's times where you might need your best defensive lineup. So I'm figuring out a lot of things as we go with this group of guys. I really don't. I know that we had the big guys flipped as far as who started the game in the second half. I'm not sure with the guards. You'd have to go back and look.
Have you found a death lineup yet with these guys?
What's that? What's that?
A death lineup like the Warriors?
Oh, is that CI? See, you can tell I didn't know what the death lineup is. Is that their small lineup?
It's their best lineup from a couple years ago when they had it.
And that was the nickname, the death
The
lineup?
death lineup, yeah.
No, we don't have Draymond, KD, Clay, and Steph, Iguodala. Yeah. If we had that lineup, I wouldn't. I'd be able to digest food right now. It'd be nice. All right, I'll let you
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
get
Okay, good.